Hello, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, and my beloved Elena. I wanted to do a short little, I guess, not really an intro, but an introduction, I guess, with this part here that you're seeing. Sorry, I'm nervous trying to figure out what I'm going to say. Um, the project I've been working on for a long time is finally done. 31 drawings that I had to tell this story. I'm not going to go into detail just yet. I want you all to watch the video. If you like the video, you can go ahead and watch it. I've been doing the reading stories and or the narrating the stories. I've been doing the Fallen Aurora one, and hopefully you'll have been enjoying that. This is not a continuation of that one. This is a brand new story. I've been working on a long time, been wanting to take and do it, but I've been scared to do it because of scared I'm gonna get backlash from certain things depending on the subject. And I don't know, also YouTube, I don't know how the algorithm is, so I don't want to get demonetized by them. This particular story I wrote, it's been with me for a long time. Well, the person it's about has been with me a long time, and I don't know why. It's just hearing about her and what happened to her, even though she was fighting for a worthy cause in her mind. But you know how that could be taken in different situations is like a two-sided coin where one person might think it's right, where the other person might think it's not. But it's in all who you are, because I mean, what I might think is wrong, you might think is right. It's that type of thing. But what happened to her afterwards, it always stuck with me because I felt really sorry for her. And this story is about me taking my main character from my books that are published on Amazon, or my one book that's published on Amazon, even though there's 4 more volumes to it, but I haven't really put them out because of I'm tired of doing the e-reader thing. I want them actually out in physical store for people to buy and enjoy. I would like people to read my stories that way instead of doing it the e-reader way, because it's like they're charging you all this money to do it. If you do by the company that wants to do e-reader, they want you to pay $3,000 out the gate, and they're not going to do nothing for you. So put it on the e-reader. They're not going to help you get it into the store. But let's slide off that subject for a second. I'm taking my character and been working on it in this book here, the Flame Ring from Dark Souls. I got it when I got reserved the game number Dark Souls 3. But I've been writing it for a long time and then trying to figure out how to do the drawings, which I finally got all the drawings done. There's 31 of them. But I've been scared to put it out on YouTube because I'm going to try to put it on YouTube. That's the reason why you're seeing this video. Sorry, I don't want to keep running my mouth. Back to the situation, or the point. It stuck with me a long time, this particular character. There's books and bios of her that I've read like time and time again, and it's like I don't know when to. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. My dad was calling me for coffee he got me, which thank you so much. I'm trying to word this so I'm not yammering on in your mouth. Yammering on in your mouth. Like yammering on in your ear. I'm getting so tongue-tied because of those fucking masks we have to keep wearing. God, my brain cells are fucking gone. And I haven't even done drugs. And even I don't want to do drugs, but and I don't condone drugs or, anyway, off to the side. The way the story goes is like, my main character goes to take and rescue this person. He's been wanting to rescue her for a long time, and you'll see that in the video as I narrate it. Elena's helping me with the story too because she's doing the voice of Elena, which is the wife to the main character. And Elena is like my Emily and I'm her kind, which y'all have seen in the previous video of the story. Anyway, to get back to the main point, that I keep going off of subject, I'm sorry. I just don't want to be demonetized, and I'm not condoning certain things, but I want to tell this story because it's not like a slap in the face to people. I don't want to do that. I'm not that type of person. It really irks me of what happened to this person She did all this, she was used, and then tossed aside. Which we've seen this in movies, real life, Reddit and stories, all that type of thing. But this is based on a real character, or a real person, I should say. Or I need to say it because it is a real person. She was wronged, and the people that wronged her, they thought it was just. And it irks me because they got away with it scot-free. And it really, really irks me. Like, to this day, it has never stopped. It's just like, I understand they're dead and gone, but still. This person I'm talking about, I've tried looking up things, but I don't think she was actually buried. If she was, somebody in the comments, please correct me and let me know where her grave is, because one day I would like to go there with Elena and we'd take and place roses down and tell her thank you. Because she was fighting, for what she believed in. And like I said, again, it could be taken as wrong of what she was doing, where other people saw it as hope and was thinking it was right. It's just, this has stuck with me for so long. I wanted to write a story where my character is altering certain things, and doing this, he's having to be careful of what he does because it could end up starting a war in a way, or it could. So I just wanted to get that out there. I'm just hoping that I don't get demonetized. This is going to be a little bit, it is going to be mature. No certain things in it, like nudity or anything. But I wanted to, I'm trying to hold off on what I was doing. Like, when I was writing the story towards the end, I wanted to take and really, I don't know, putting it lightly, is these people that did her wrong, I wish I could literally just slap the shit out of their mom for ever giving birth to them. And like I said, I'm putting it mildly because it's like I really want to say some other things, but I don't want to get demonetized, and I don't want to take and get backlash because of certain things back then. It's like they had this power, and they did it at this time, that this person I'm talking about, they did it at this time. They held this power in their hand above everybody else in the actual town. And they took this girl that was a hero and then altered her to make her like this horrible thing. And the people of the town knew that they were lying, but they couldn't say nothing because they knew what would happen if they would say something. So they just stood there and couldn't do nothing because of these people holding this much power in their hand. And you'll kind of see who I'm talking about in the story. The same thing with her, the people that fought alongside her. Same difference. They didn't do a damn thing. They outnumbered these people, but yet these people held this power over them, and they just stood there and let it happen. And to me, it really irked me, and it still irks me today. And another thing, this person I'm talking about, it wasn't the movie because they had somebody play the part of this woman in the movie, in a live action movie, basically portraying the storyline of the girl that I'm talking about. That's going to be in my story here. That is not what made me take in, get into this scenario and read the books and everything. It wasn't even like high school or middle school or even like my first school, because I'm sorry, the schools I went to absolutely sucked at telling history. I think the only history teacher I actually liked was Mr. Rooney from high school, and that was like my 12th grade year. The man actually taught us good stuff and actually got you into the actual lesson. He helped you to get integrated into it, to get oh, I want to learn more about this, that type of thing. So thank you, Mr. Rooney, if you ever see this in the future. Thank you. But it really irks me because they teach all this crap in school that has nothing to do with what you need. I'd rather learn about world history instead of fucking U.S. history, which was bullshit and garbage, excuse my language, and government history. Who the fuck needs that? throw that shit out the window and fucking burn it. Excuse my language again, I'm sorry. But it really irks me. So, let me get my composure. I'm trying to gather the words here and trying to figure out how I'm saying all this or saying it correctly. So, again, like I said, I'm scared. I'm trying to do this story. I don't want to cry during this story because I cried drawing the pictures and I cried writing the story. It was that much. I don't want to say her name because I don't want to give it away of what the story's about. I want you to actually look at the story and I hope you enjoy it. I just really hope she's at rest and not having to suffer anymore because of what they did to her. Because with the way the rules are, I guess you could say, when something bad happens, it's like they have to keep reliving that over and over. Same thing with either a murder or like somebody drowning or like, it's just they never get to find peace. And like somebody that died from natural causes and then gets buried in the ground with a priest saying, his holy words to him, I don't know. I pray to God above that, like she got the rest because from everything I've read, like I mean, this was a long time ago, so there's not really much to go on. You have like with the biographies I'm reading of this, the person I'm talking about. It's like one biography is actually legitly about her, the other one is like legitly about her, but it's like it just kind of feels like they're mixing fantasy with fantasy with fiction or with facts, but it's like they're kind of giving you a little bit of both, but it's like they're holding her up in a high regard, but in my heart I don't feel like, I mean, well, it's the way the words are worded. Basically, people are going to say that shit nowadays. Excuse my language again. But it's just like they don't know what she went through at that age, at that time frame. The hardships she had to face. And I'm pretty sure she did things she didn't want to do, but she was fighting for a cause that she thought was just. Again, she thought it was just so that people could think it was not. People saw her as a hero. I just hope I'm not giving too much away with what I'm talking about. I'm really trying to keep it like thorough here. But I just really hope that she is at rest because like for what was done to her, I think it's really wrong. And what's happening nowadays, well, I really can't say that because I don't want to get demonetized. Because I'm feeling like if I were to say that, basically I might get demonetized or backlash from the particular ones I'm talking about. Because I mean, you kind of have that same scenario going on now with people holding this type of power and abusing it. And they're, I'm going to shut up. So anyway, I'm sorry for rambling on. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for your support, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, my beloved Elena. Thank you, Elena, for being a voice and a main character in my story and being my actual Emily. You were wonderful and I love you with all my heart and soul. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for the support on the channel. I'm trying to mix it up. I know I do a lot of gaming, but I would like to switch up and maybe do some different videos that you might like. This is the type of thing I'm doing. There's another type of video I would like to do soon. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna do it and record it, but also maybe do it when it's a little bit warmer outside because it's been cold. So without further ado, let's go on with the next video, or the video itself. So thank you for your support, and here we go. Legends die. We open our story with Kime alone at his desk, deep in thought, as he stared at a scroll on his desk in front of him. The scroll, or contract, was written on black paper and had a white ribbon around it, with a seal from red wax. This contract had been sitting on his desk for years, waiting for him to open it and undertake the mission, for it was something you could not rush through. It took planning, and to do this, Kime knew it would mean he making enemies in the end. Kime knew in his heart it would be doing the right thing, but to others it would be doing an unspeakable act. He leans forward and rubs his head as a tear rolls down his cheek. He reaches up and sees that even his heart was conflicted, and yet another part of him was burning alive inside to punish those that lived on, like their way was just. Kime hears Amy calling to him inside his head to come downstairs to the infirmary for a checkup. He heads out of the two-floored library and into the grand hall by the water fountain that had a goddess standing with wings out while pouring a vase into the fountain. Emily, what should I do? I feel it even more than just a mission. I feel bound to her, and I know if I take this step, I will start a war that will only end in bloodshed.
Do what you feel is right, and know we all are behind you, always, no matter what, to the very end.
I love you, Emily. Emily appears and wipes away his tears and kisses him softly.
I love you too, my beloved husband. Now don't make Amy wait, you know how she gets.
Amy speaks out, you know I can hear you, right? Kime goes to the infirmary downstairs and lays on the table as the doctor examines his body and wounds that are healing. Amy asks him questions about if he's having headaches or having a hard time breathing. No, Amy, I've been not having no problems lately. Amy could see something was bothering him, so she asked what was on his mind. I thought you could read my mind. Amy says, I don't want to all the time. I'd like to hear you speak to me with your own words. So what is on your mind, my beloved? It is about the contract, Amy. It is weighing on me, and I am struggling with it. I feel I am being selfish for if I take her away from that world. Or should I say that time in history, it will alter things in the timeline. The church will see it as an act and use it to their advantage to say that she is a witch when she is not. But at the same time, I will be starting a war with the angels. I love her like I love all of you. You are my family. And I feel that what if I bring her back to life, that she will be ashamed of me, for I took her away from her fate and undone all the hard work she has done. I am struggling to hold back my anger and fire from not losing control and making a dark day in history, Amy. Amy just shakes her head slowly as she comes close and holds Kime tightly. Amy says, Kime, in my own opinion, you would not be undoing anything, for there is people that wanted her to live, for she gave them hope. Not the church. For the church and new king in that time only used her to complete their means. If you were to bring her back, you could give her a life of happiness like you gave all of us in our own paradise. And I am sure with her believing in God, she would understand if you explain it to her, as you did to me and so passionately. Remember, my beloved, your heart is strong and it will not fail you. And you have us as your backup if you need it. Please have more faith in yourself and come home to us safely. Thank you, Amy. Your words are so kind to me. Amy says, good, now take your sexy ass upstairs and prepare for your mission. Kime stands there frozen in place after what she just said. Oh, okay. By the way, Amy, do you have the cloning machine up and running yet? Amy says I need a little more time on it because it is very far from being perfect. Well, thank you so far for what you have done. I need to talk to Delova about equal exchange. Amy says, be careful with that stuff. It is very dangerous. I can't go losing you now. I promise, Amy. I'll be careful with it. As he leaves the infirmary, he heads to the door made of stone with ruins and depictions of death, for this door led to Delova, the Lord of Death itself and the universe. Before he could knock, a voice speaks out to him. Hello there, Kime. Do you think it's wise to go through with this? It was Ide, Kime's other side, standing in the hallway, leaning against the wall in his suit and shades. What on earth do you want, Ide? Haven't you caused enough trouble with all this shit that you keep bringing on to me? I'm just here to say my piece. I am worried, you know. I am a slave to this body as well as you are. If you go dying, we both do. To think about it, do you honestly think you could pull this shit off without a problem? You're gonna be going over the fucking line. Think about it, Kime. We're gonna be stepping on the toes of the fucking angels. And me, your other dark side here, talking to you like I'm the fucking angel of happiness and fucking tiddlywinks. You can't just go saving everybody, Kime. Think about it. We're not immortal. We can die, you know. Joan of Arc has waited long enough. She deserves to have happiness in her life. Well, I tried. Don't go saying I didn't warn you. If it was me, I would just go after the ones that took it wronged her and just kill those bastards that wronged her. Of course, I'm not a pretty boy like you that's always trying to be hero. No, I won't give in to that. I am not a monster. It's a little late for that, Kime. Need I remind you of your brothers and sisters you had to put down like ravenous dogs back then? I can always show you a quick reminder. Their graves are down in the basement, where you buried them. Enough, Ide. This conversation is over with. Kime raises his hand and knocks on the door of death. A secretary answers the door that was a white goat girl by the name of Coralina. She looks up at Kime. He blushes, then she lowers her glasses and softly says, "Are you here for an appointment or are you here for pleasure?" As she softly licks her lips and smiles at him. Kime stands there nervous, but then Delova comes out of her office and says, "Down, Coralina. Kime is here to visit." Delova pushes Coralina aside and takes Kime by the arm and heads to the office, leading the way. In the office, Delova asks Kime if he wants a drink. "No, my beloved, but I came to." But Delova stops him before he can finish his sentence and says, "I know why you are here. Emily filled me in, and I think this is a bad idea. And I miss you calling me your beloved. I am so sorry I have been busy, and please be careful of Coralina. She is a succubus, and she will not hesitate to dominate you, so you are lucky I was home at the time." Kime stands there trying to reform what he was going to say as he looked clueless on what just happened. Delova says that it is okay. Take a second to gather your thoughts. "Please, Delova, I need your help." Delova leans forward in her chair and thinks slowly as she starts to speak next. She says, "Kime, I don't know if this is a good idea. If I knew the odds, I would say go for it, and I have your back, but I know this will start a war, and I know the innocent will die. I have to do this, Delova, even if it means I don't live in the end." Delova says, "You will live, for you are mine, and I control the wheel of fate. Call me greedy, but I cannot bear to be without you. And I speak for all of us, for I am sure Emily and the rest of you saved over the years would agree." She gets up from her chair and comes over to Kime and says as she holds him tightly, "Please always know I am behind you, supporting you. Just come back safely, my beloved husband Kime." She then leans up and kisses him deeply, sliding her tongue into his mouth and softly wrapping it around his as he blushes. Kime didn't know what to do. He was blushing as he was holding her, because he always knew that she always had a wild side, but it was deeply and passionate, deep side for him, for she always wanted to be there for him every waking moment, making sure he was okay. Even though she was the person that took and controlled the will of death, she always wanted to be there to make sure he was okay. But she always cried at night because her job kept her at bay from him. But she always kept an eye on him, on every mission, every step he took, even if he was badly injured. She made sure he came back alive. As she pulled away slowly, she says, "God, I miss your taste. When you get back, you will owe me one. Okay, Kime?" As she pulled away softly and slowly, she says, "God, I miss your taste. When you get back, you owe me one, Kime, okay?" What do you want of me, my beloved Delova?" She says, "Don't act dumb, Kime. You know what I'm talking about. Now I heard you have another question for me. What is it?" "I had a question on my mind that it involved equal exchange, Delova." Delova looks at Kime slightly and says, "Why do you think you need that?" "I need a homunculus for us. It would help us with the travel. They can pass through any time frame." Delova says, "I don't know if that is a good idea. What would you give them in exchange?" She says, "Don't say your life again. That is mine, and they don't like treasure either, so you would have to think up something better." Kime steps up to the desk and softly taps the desk with 2 fingers, and his old arm appears, and she says, "This is yours?" "Aye, this was when I was on my first mission and lost it. I figured I would catch a fine price for it." Delova says if it was a normal arm, no. But this is your arm, so it has a high grade, and the knowledge within each drop of blood is worth solar systems. But I think I will hold on to this. But I think 3 drops of blood should do the job. But I want to do a test on them so they don't use the knowledge within to try and kill us or anything else. Delova sits down and gets to work on the preparations as Kime heads out. Delova smiles as Kime tries to reach for the door, with her long tail reaching out and wrapping around him and jerking him back to the desk. As he lays it on the desk, she softly slides her skirt up as she climbs on top of him. She says, "How rude is it for you to take and ask for something and not give something in return, Kime?" "My beloved Delova, you must stop. There'll be time for this later on. I don't have it at the moment. I promise you I will come back and make love to you. And I promise we'll have another daughter." As Kine steps out into the hallway, he feels a sharp pain strike his head. As he's trying to keep focus and stand on his own 2 legs, his vision becomes blurry, but he can see the cracks forming more within his skin, with light piercing through. Emily and Tempest could sense something was wrong with Kime, so they took and used the portal to get to him fast. As they took and came upon him, he was almost on his knees, about to take and yell out. They grabbed him tightly and held him. They softly whispered to him as they took and used some of their abilities and powers to take and heal him. They kept telling him to stay strong, to fight it. As Kime regained consciousness, he could see Emily and Tempest holding him tightly. He could feel their soft breath breathing on his skin. He could even feel their heartbeats beating against his chest and his back. They loved him so much and they wanted to see him be okay. Kime heads upstairs and takes a deep breath as he opens a portal using the symbols for the angel kingdom in the air, with a piece of a horn and elements. As the portal opens, Kime stepped through, unarmed, to show he was no threat, but in the eyes of the angels, armed or not, he was still a threat to them, and everything living. Kime was walking on a stone bridge in the heavens, but this was the kingdom of angels, one of the many kingdoms in heaven. There was a huge coliseum that stretched high. Without end, he couldn't even see the top of the coliseum. The angels were armed to the teeth with legendary weapons and armor. As Kime took one more step, an army swarmed him with weapons at the ready. Kime just breathed slowly as he was asked by the elite why he was there, for his kind was not welcome here. "Oh, I'm just here to visit an old friend of mine." The elite says, "What friend? We are not friends with the likes of you, abomination." "Oi, not you, laddie. I was talking about a particular angel. We go way back. His name is Gabriel. Have you heard of him?" Before the elite angel could strike Kime down, a voice is heard from behind. They all heard it say, "Stand down, brothers in arms." The angels made a pathway for Gabriel, who walks up to Kime and says, "Long time no see, Kime. May I ask why you are here?" Kime and Gabriel walk away from the army, but the elite says, "We should kill him, for he is not welcome here, Gabriel." Gabriel says, "Stand down, elite," but he says, "No, I can take him." Gabriel says, "You can try, but..." "And you would be killed. But we have a contract with Kime, and he obeys the rules and laws, and we don't start a war with him." Again, Kime and Gabriel start to walk away. "He's a good lad, but he's too headstrong. If he is willing to risk it all to protect others, I would understand. But to do it all for glory would only get your brothers killed." Gabriel says, "I know, but he will learn someday. That way of thinking will only bring trouble. Reminds me of you, Kime. You were that way once." Kime just laughs and smiles at Gabriel. "Ah, such a fine trip down memory lane where I had to pull my head out of my ass just to take and make sure I was doing everything correctly that you were teaching me." Gabriel says, "It was nice, wasn't it? Having those memories that they can look back upon, knowing that you did a good job." "Aye, it was nice. It was like having a father figure, to be honest." "May I ask you a question, Gabriel? Do you have any children of your own?" Gabriel says, "No, I don't, but if I could, I'd love to have a daughter someday." "Aye, I have 7 of them. They mean the world to me. My beautiful daughters they are. And I am proud to give life to each and every one of them, with their beautiful mothers helping me with them." Gabriel smiles and says that is good to hear. And Kime and Gabriel enter the Hall of Legends, where angel statues stood with stories of their legacies were. So Gabriel says, "So what do I owe this visit, Kime?" Kime takes a deep breath, and Gabriel could see by his look that this was something that was weighing heavily on his mind. I have a mission that is going to involve me stepping on the peace treaty we made so long ago. Gabriel says, so what does this mission entail that would have you do this? There was a quietness that filled the air as Gabriel looked at Kime, waiting for the answers to come from his mouth. As the silence broke, Kime just uttered, "This mission entails Joan of Arc." Gabriel understood from there the hardship that girl faced when the church turned its back on her. Gabriel says, "What do you plan to do?" "I don't know yet. I want to save her and give her a life, one she never got to have, and make the people pay for what they did. But I feel this will lead to bloodshed and innocent dying, for I don't think they will hand over her body without a fight, trying to prove a point, saying I was some type of demon that she summoned to harm them." Gabriel says, "I have heard the legends of her and felt bad for her dying so young. If you're going to go down this path, I understand, and yet I will not be able to take and protect you. So plan your moves wisely, Kime, Ares kindred, the ninth guardian." Kime gets up and heads out, but Gabriel says if there is bloodshed, give it to those that deserve it, and not to the fair-hearted. "I will try my best, Gabriel, so I guess this is goodbye." Gabriel says no, just another day in time, Kime. Be safe and take it easy, my friend. Kime opens a portal as he steps through out the other side to home. He sees as Emily, the wolf goddess of his heart and soul, but everyone in his family was his heart and soul that kept him strong. "Emily, my beloved, how are you doing today?" Kime reaches out softly and takes her hand as he gets down on one knee and kisses it. But knowing Emily, she takes his hand and draws him in close and kisses his lips as he blushes hard.
Have you decided what you're going to do, my beloved?
"Yes, I have, my beloved, and I promise I will protect you and our family."
Remember, stay strong, and I will protect you too.
Emily softly waves her hand as Clara, Landra, Sadine, Celestia, and Amethyst come in. Their daughters. "What are they doing here, my beloved Emily?"
They are here as backup for you. I want you safe and unharmed. I am sending them out on recon for you, but from what the Black Scroll says, you will not be going there just yet.
"Aye, you're right, my beloved Emily. I have to go see a wizard and a king first." Kime goes and gets the Black Scroll and gears up just in case he needs to fight. Emily opens two portals, one for Kime to the medieval times, and one for the daughters to the Guardian Corps they were called, to the year 1431. It was the year that Joan of Arc died. Kime walks through into a forest at night, but the forest had an enchantment spell on it, placed by Merlin. While in the other time, the girls ran across rooftops, staying hidden from sight. They stop at the towers that imprisoned Joan of Arc. While on the rooftops, the girls held on to the ropes, and Clara and Landra rappelled down as they looked into see Joan of Arc. Chained up on her knees and beaten, the only light she had was a candle. Clara looks at Landra and she says, "Father is not going to like this, he's going to lose it." When he hears this, Landra. Clara places a finger on the side of her head as she talks to her mother Emily, telling her about the situation.
Is she awake?
Clara says, "I don't think so." Landra uses her magic to see if her heart was still or beating. Landra nods to Clara, letting her know she was still alive and asleep.
Use a healing spell to heal the wounds for her.
Emily watches from two water mirrors, one of the Guardian Corps, which was her daughter's, the other of the Kime. Kime stands there smelling the magic and power in the air as a voice sounded out. It was Merlin saying, "I don't know what you are, but you don't belong in this time. Did Morgana send you?" "No, I don't obey no evil queen." Merlin says, "Then why are you here?" "I am here to meet with Arthur, for his sword contains something that belongs to me." Merlin says, "No, the sword will remain with Arthur." Kime gets angry as he yells out, "You created the blade, the one that Arthur holds so dear to him. Do you not understand what you have done? You have stolen a soul that belongs to my world. Arthur can keep being king for all I care, or he could just die off. I don't give a shit." Merlin says, "Enough talk, you monster. I may be a monster, but not as much as you, for you have created a weapon that can only be achieved by sacrificing, and you use the soul that belonged to me." Merlin summons the trees to attack Kime, but Kime just waves his hands across the air as the forest is leveled in a blink of an eye. Merlin opens a portal and summons a dragon to fly down and attack from the skies. It shoots fire and lands to attack Kime with its fangs and claws. Forgive me. Kime swings a left hook, toppling the dragon onto its side. It lays there looking up at him. Forgive me, my brother. You are fighting for the wrong side. Get up. As it gets up, it softly readjusts its jaw and bows to him. No, we are equals. Help me, there is a soul crying out for aid. The dragon comes close as Kime heals the wounds he has inflicted on the dragon's face. The dragon says, What will you have me do, Kime? I need you to fly up in the air and take a look around to give me a heading of where Merlin is hiding. The dragon nods and takes off in a hurry as the trees try to stop them. Kime uses a fire ring to burn down the limbs. The dragon yells to Kime as it points to the northeast. Kime draws his sword and angles himself towards where Merlin was. He summons creatures to destroy Kime, but Kime just holds his ground as he points his sword forward as he uses his magic to make a way for himself. The four creatures appear from the ground surrounding him, but the sword had a secondary mode that Kime releases. Kime lets go of the sword as it transforms into a girl snow leopard, using the magic Kime imbued into her blade. She releases it as it carves a path to Merlin. Kime fights the creatures using his elemental powers and dark-side-eyed. The power release shook the grounds, and Merlin was using everything he had to place a barrier up to protect him. Kime and Sylvia and the dragon walked towards the barrier. As they got closer, Kime takes off, running towards the barrier, to strike it as hard as he could to place a strain on Merlin. Kime strikes it with his armored fist and it shatters like glass. Merlin falls back onto the ground, weakening, breathing heavy. Merlin says, What do you want from me, you monster? Sylvia says, Let me kill him, my beloved. No, he would pay me what is owed to me. The dragon says, What are you going to do to him? What else can you do to a wizard except make him mortal? Kime grabs him by the neck and lifts him into the air as he drains his magic out of him and places a seal that destroys the magic cord which Merlin was born with. Kime drops Merlin back to the ground as he and Sylvia walk out of the forest that had no enchantment on it anymore. The dragon takes off into the air to do recon on the area for them. For the next on Kime's list was the One King, Arthur Pendragon. As they walk through the grassy fields, Sylvia says, Kime, why are you going through this? So much danger. What is all this for? I am doing this for a life that is old, someone that has never gotten the chance to live and be free, to pick and choose their own destiny, and their souls within that sword that Arthur holds so dear to him. For the sword is imbued with her soul. For in order for that sword to be that powerful, Merlin pulled her soul from the life stream for a sacrifice, for power, to help a boy become king, to own the throne in a kingdom. The dragon lands and says, The kingdom you seek lies to the north, Kime. Thank you so much for your help, but one thing still bothers me, may I ask? The dragon says, Yes, what is it? I must ask, what is your name? The dragon smiles and says, I have not introduced myself, have I? My name is Aya. Sylvia was the snow leopard that was imbued in Kime's sword that transformed to help him in the forest earlier. She smiles at Kime and says, So you're a girl dragon. Kime turns blue in the face for he called her brother, but the worst part was punching her in the face. Kime stands in front of her and bows. I am so sorry for punching you in the face and calling you brother. She smiles softly as she tilts her head and she says, I know you were holding back when you punched me, for you truly did not want to hurt me. She also proceeds to say, I find you kind and have a loving heart. I wish I could be with you after this mission is over with. Before Kime could say anything, Sylvia chimes in and says, Join the family. There is plenty of room in paradise for you, and Kime will take very good care of you too. Kime slowly turns his head to look at Sylvia, as she is laughing hard, for she knows that Kime was going to take and ask her to join the paradise, and also family he had to protect her, and give her a chance to actually have a beautiful life. As they continue onward towards the kingdom of Camelot, Kime touches his head and talks to Emily, asking her how is the girls doing.
They are at the tower, now watching over her.
How is she doing in that tower? Is she holding up all right?
Clara is using a heat spell to keep her warm, for she has no bed or barely any clothes on.
Kime grits his teeth and slowly tightens his armored fist, trying to not lose control and destroy everything. Sylvia and Aya see Kime lower his head as tears roll down his cheeks. As they round the next bend, they come close to the gates of Camelot. From here on out, I'll take care of the rest. I need you two home safely. I don't want nothing to happen to you. They both look at Kime with a serious look and say, no, it is too dangerous to go in there. There's too many knights, and plus Arthur has the sword. What if he was to use it on you? I can handle it, I promise. But if you two come, I won't be able to use my full power. I understand you both want to help me, but if it gets too bad, Emily will send you to take and save me. I will take and give a signal that will get her to send you to me. I promise. They both hug him tightly and head back to their world as they watch from the water mirror Emily was watching from. Kime takes a deep breath. I know this would be in vain, but let's try anyway. The guard that is on top of the wall, that controls the drawbridge. I am here to seek an audience with King Arthur. The guard says, what business do you have with our king, stranger? I have a message for Merlin. The guard says, why would Merlin send a boy to deliver a message when he can use magic to come and go as he pleases? Why am I even doing this? It ain't like the guard's gonna take and believe me with this shit. The guard says, bugger off. We don't believe you. I guess the cat's out of the bag now. So if you want to know the truth about why I'm here, it's because I am here to see your dear old King Arthur and take and topple him. The guard wanted to laugh, but he sees Kime summon a huge shadow arm and grab hold of the gate and destroy it. The arm's reach was over 4 stories high. Kime tore the drawbridge down and leaped through with ease. Knights from the crown of the king came running to fight at that very moment. I'm not here to kill anybody, but I know the knights will be in that mindset to do so, so I have to be cautious. But at that moment he got an idea and drew his saber blade that had a dull blunt end on the other side of the blade. He could use that to incapacitate them. He took a stance as the knights came running at him with lances and swords. Then in a blink of an eye, Kime appeared behind them. As he used the blade, all 12 knights fell to the ground. Out like a light, Kime quickly ran to the castle, taking out knights and guards on his way there till at the gate to the castle. Kime opens them as he walks inside to see the round table with all the knights at the ready to strike him down. Arthur was at the head of the table. Well, it is an honor to take and meet you, King Arthur, and your legendary knights. It is a real shame that I just wanted to come here and take and talk, but it seems all the humans have let the power go to their heads. Arthur speaks out and says, it sounds like you speak from experience, Wanderer. No, for if I was like that, your kingdom would have been ashes long ago, believe me. I'm not here to take and play gestures or play jokes. I'm here to be serious. I believe in trying to talk it out if you are willing to listen to reason. Lancelot speaks out. You are just a boy that acts all tough but full of pig shit. He laughs at Kime, but Arthur could feel what Kime was capable of. Even the other knights felt it too. I, the honorable knight Lancelot, the one that betrays the crown and sleeps with the queen, and knocks her up and later runs with his ass between his legs, from being a knight and also a man of honor, and not even being a father to the fucking kid. Lancelot says, how dare you, you little shit. Arthur says, stand down, Sir Lancelot. No, King Arthur, let him prove the point. If he wishes for combat, I will gladly oblige. But if he wins, I will leave. But if I win, you will hear me out, King of Kings. Lancelot gets up as the others watch. Some are thinking Kime was just a 19-year-old boy. He was going to get killed. Lancelot draws his sword, but Kime lays his on the ground. Lancelot says, why are you giving up so easily? Heavens no, I'm just going to fight you with my fists, but you are welcome to use your sword. You are going to need it, I promise. Lancelot says, why you little, and swings as Kime dances around him with ease, reading every move. Lancelot gets the drop on Kime, but caught Lancelot off guard as Kime grabs hold of the blade with 2 fingers and shatters it. It is my turn now, knight. Have you made your peace with your gold? Kime does not hesitate at this point and grabs hold of Lancelot's arm and jerks him forward and breaking it. Kime then takes and aims for his legs and breaks them as well. With a single punch that ended up being 4, but from the onlookers they only saw 1. Lancelot ends up flying towards the stone wall, shattering it and coughing up blood. The knights from the Round Table and even King Arthur were terrified as Kym stands there watching as Lancelot was embedded in the stone wall. Kym takes and places 2 fingers to his forehead to use the spell to see how badly he took and hurt Lancelot. Let's see what we have here. We have 2 broken legs, 17 broken bones in the left arm, 4 broken ribs, plus a bruised lung. He will live, but he will not be able to be a knight no more. Arthur says in a terrified voice, "What are you?" I've been asked that so many times, to be honest, I don't know. I've lost track of counting on it. I've been called a monster. I've been called an abomination. I've been called a worldly thing. I've been called a disaster. But there has always been one that has stuck with me. And a kind-hearted soul that lives within my paradise has called me a guardian, so it's stuck. Arthur says, "Why are you here, guardian?" "Well, I'm not here to kill no one, so at least you don't have to worry about this man betraying you, and your queen knows the truth of how this man is a dishonor to the Round Table and being a real man. I'm here for your sword, for Merlin did not tell you how he got the power, and gave all of this, did he?" One of the heavy-armored knights says, "That is blasphemy. Our king earned this. It was his birthright." Kym softly shakes his head. "Everyone knows it wasn't the person in the legend. It was always the sword Excalibur. So everything you did up to this point was because of that sword, Arthur. So you are condemning a soul to get what you want?" Arthur says, "What are you talking about?" "Merlin imbued that blade with a pure soul to powder it, to sit your ass on a throne to be a symbol for others. How does the saying go again? Condemn one to save many?" Arthur looks towards his sword. The blade glows as Arthur feels doubt in his heart for what he has done all the way up to this point. Arthur says, "The conversation we are having right now, they hear you out. What if it is all a lie?" "For fuck's sakes, what do I have to gain from lying to you, Arthur?" Arthur takes a deep breath and says, "I understand, and I understand what Merlin was trying to do for this country. Did not have stability, so I see why he took this path, to make me king. But I also see that my legacy is only of the sword, but I cannot give you the sword." "So you will continue down this path then?" Arthur says, "Yes, for my people and kingdom." "Then I have no choice then." The knights stand and draw their weapons to strike Kym as they surround him. "I will give you one last chance, Arthur. I do not want to resort to killing." Arthur says, "You may have beaten Lancelot, but I am sure you cannot beat my men or my sword." "Well, I see it was always doomed from the start, wasn't it?" Ide inside Kym's mind speaks out. "What will you do? Let us out, and we will do the heavy lifting." Kym smiles as he had other plans. "No, I have someone else better in mind, and I called her in for backup. I know she'll do a better job than you can." The window shattered from a loud scream from above, and in through the window came Medusa as the knights looked at her while turning to stone. Kym ducked and used magic to blow them all back against the wall and used tree roots to hold them there. Medusa comes by Kym and winks at him as she slowly grabs his butt and gives him a good kiss on the lips, and opens a portal as she walks back to paradise, smiling at him. "Thank you so much for the help, my beloved Medusa, and always remind me to stay on your good side." She softly sings, "You owe me." Kym turns to face Arthur as he was still sitting on his throne, holding on to the chair for dear life, trying not to show no sign of weakness as he looked at Kym. "Well, King, it is just you and me from now on. Do you have any more words to take and say before the time comes?" Arthur draws his sword and jumps at Kym swiftly, but Kym just sidesteps him and throws a punch with his armored arm, shattering the blade, just like Lancelot's. Arthur was beside himself as he lost control and falls to the floor with a loss of words. Kym holds out his hand as the pure soul turns into a teardrop and lands within his palm. Kym then proceeds to take and place it against his chest as it goes within his body to be safe and protected. "I bid you farewell, King. You and your knights will live today, but tomorrow I cannot say." Kym heads down through the kingdom and out the front gate he destroyed, only to be faced with the Angel Knight. "I see they have come early. I thought I would have a little more time with this." "Why are you here? I didn't kill no one." The Angel Knight says you are breaking the law of altering time. What about the pure soul that was being used for a weapon? Isn't that wrong on all counts? He looks at Kaim as he readies his angelic blade to strike Kaim down and says that was written within the timeline. But as Kaim gets ready to fight and stand his ground, a portal opens and a gentleman steps out with a book in hand while writing in it to stop the fight from ever happening. Chains wrap around the Angel Knight, keeping him from moving. Who are you? And are you a friend or foe? The gentleman says to him, You only need to know me as the writer, and as for the Angel Knight, you are not needed here. Be gone. Back to heaven with you. The Angel Knight yells as he fades away from sight. The writer turns back to Kaim and says, I am not your enemy, just someone that wants to see this mission of yours through. I don't understand why you are helping me. The writer says there is no time to explain. You need to go. She has been waiting long enough for her freedom, and you are the only one to give her that hope. He opens a portal for Kaim and walks away, as he also says, Go now. Will we meet again someday? The writer says if time deems it. Kaim runs through the portal back to paradise. End of Chapter 1, Legends Die.